Hello, everyone out there in Rumble, X, and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and today we're going to talk some more about Wicked, and the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Yes, the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. That this gay guy named Gregory Maguire, he decided he wanted to make a prequel to The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, which was published in 1900. Yeah, a long time ago. Anyway, so he, decided that he wanted to give the Wicked Witch of the West a backstory, like how did she become that way and all that stuff. L. Frank Baum never gave her one. Okay, she was just the antagonist. Okay, of the first book. So she didn't even look like this. She had no green skin. If you look at the original book, the original Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch of the West, she wore a patch. She had one eye and she was short. Okay, and she did not look anything. She didn't wear all black, and she didn't have green skin or talons for fingers or a big hawk nose, or she didn't wear the canonical black brim hat. She didn't wear that. She looked completely different. Okay, but they changed it obviously for the movie. The movie 1939 was going to be filmed in Technicolor, which back then was a special effect. Okay, not all movies could afford color. It costs a lot of money to do color, and so if you're going to spend a lot of movie on color, then you want the images to pop out at you. Okay, you want people to remember this movie. Okay, so like I said, color movies were a novelty. Okay, so they really went out of their way to make sure everything was colored, not like it was in real life, but the way it would be like in a comic book or something. Okay, so that's why you had a lot of greens and blacks, and blues, and whites and all that kind of. You saw all that and reds because they wanted the color to pop out at you. Like I said, it was a special effect in 1939. Gone with the Wind had done it earlier to a tremendous success. So now it was time for this movie, the Wizard of Oz, to do the same thing, to just wow the audiences with the color. Okay, get them something to talk about. Get the press something to talk about. Okay, how beautiful this movie looks. Even if the movie sucks, it looks incredible. Okay, and it did. There was a lot of hard work was put into the 1939 movie, and most of what we know today about the Wizard of Oz, we don't know it from the book. I've never read the book myself. I gave the book to my son. He read I think he read most of it, but I know he didn't finish it because he said it was kind of boring. Whatever, it was a big hit when it first came out. Okay, it was a huge seller. L. Frank Baum ended up writing 13 sequels to it. Okay, before he passed away, and so it was definitely a hit when it came out. But it might not be a hit today. I don't know. I never read it. Okay, but I do know there's a lot of differences. For example, the Emerald City. In the book, there was no Emerald City. Okay, it was actually it was really a white city. Okay, like I mentioned in the last video from Chicago, the white city in Chicago, 1883 World's Fair. But I guess the characters, they all had to wear these green sunglasses. Okay, these green tinted glasses so that they could see everything. And everything, of course, was green because of the glasses. But the actual city itself was so bright, okay, and phosphorescent that you couldn't look at it with your naked eye. You had to wear these green tinted glasses to see the city, which is kind of weird. I wonder what that would have looked like in a movie, but we'll never know. Okay, so there's a lot of differences. Okay, but one of them was the Wicked Witch of the West. All right, completely different looking than what she ended up being in the movie. Okay, now I did look up some stuff here on the making of the movie. All right, and there was a lot of controversy going on here. Okay, a lot of filmmakers. There was a lot of producers getting fired, actors coming and going. Buddy Ebsen was the original Tin Man. He was hired. Okay, if you don't know who Buddy Ebsen is, okay, he was the dad on the Beverly Hillbillies. Okay, and I also remember him from a cop show when I was a kid called Barnaby Jones. All right, no, it was old back then too, but I watched the reruns with my uncle. Okay, we watched all that crap, man. Beretta. You don't even know what Beretta is, do you? Kojak. I got Kojak. I got every episode of Kojak right now. Okay, but we watched all that stuff. Quincy. Yeah. Okay, old school stuff. We watched all that junk. Okay, and I remember him as Barnaby Jones. Okay, but yeah, he was also, if you remember, I reviewed Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's on this channel. I reviewed it 2 years ago. Okay, and Buddy Ebsen was in that movie too. He played Holly Golightly's husband. Yeah, she was married the whole time. Yeah. Yeah, she played the redneck, country boy who was Holly Golightly's husband. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Buddy Epson played him. But he was the original Tin Man. But when they were doing the makeup for him, they used real aluminum, okay, to paint his face. And the powder, once they took it out of the box, the powder got in the air and he ended up breathing it in. And after like a week of this, I mean, the stuff set inside of his lungs, he couldn't breathe anymore. He had to go to the hospital. He was in the hospital for 6 weeks. Well, they couldn't afford to stop production for 6 weeks, so they just got another guy. And they said, okay, listen, they got Jack Haley, okay? And they said, hey, listen, dude, instead of using the powder, so this doesn't happen to you, we're gonna turn the aluminum into a paste, okay, like a face paste, and we're gonna put that on your face to avoid your eyes and all that kind of stuff, But of course, they didn't avoid his eyes. He got some of that stuff in his eyes, and he had a severe eye infection. And if you've ever had an eye infection or something, you know how normal light hurts your eyes. You got to be in the dark, or you got to wear these sunglasses, whatever. Well, he had to live like for 2 weeks. He basically had to live in a room with no light, and for his eyes to heal correctly, because that paste had gotten inside of his eyes. If you really look close at him during the scenes, his eyes are red for a reason, okay? That shit got in his eyes, and he hadn't healed from it, okay? A lot of stuff going on in this movie, okay? Even the Wicked Witch of the West, Margaret Hamilton, she suffered second and third degree burns making this movie, okay? And her stunt double had to be hospitalized too. They actually filmed a scene on a mechanical broomstick that was supposed to generate smoke, okay? And it was on wires. So Margaret Hamilton was supposed to ride this thing, okay, and circle around, and that was when they were going to shoot to where she skywrites for Dorothy, right? Okay, well, Margaret Hamilton had just gotten out of the hospital, and she said, I ain't doing no more stunts. I will not do any more stunts. And no more fire, none of that crap, all right? Because she just got burned. So they got her stunt double to do it, but they tested it for the first 3 shots. They tested it, and it worked fine. On the third take, okay, the goddamn broom exploded. Okay, and it permanently scarred her stunt double's leg for the rest of her life, and she had to go to the hospital for like 10 days. This is a dangerous movie, man. I mean, the OSHA didn't exist back then. Okay, there was a lot of crap going on. Okay, air conditioning was like a brand new thing. Not everybody had air conditioning in 1939. Okay, and they had to close the set. Okay, they had to make a bunch of lights. In order to film the movie in Technicolor, you had to have a lot of light, a lot more than you would on a black and white movie. Okay, so I had to import all these goddamn lights and set them all over everywhere, which made the soundstage extremely hot. Now you got to remember, Roy Bolger was in the Scarecrow outfit, okay? He couldn't sweat, okay? And poor Burt Lahr was in that goddamn 50-pound, I think it was like 70-pound lion costume. Okay, you want to talk about dehydrating like a mother. I mean, I've done that before, okay? I've played Alex the Lion, okay, at a resort. They had the DreamWorks exhibit for the kids, okay, and I was one of the characters. I played Alex the Lion, okay, and when I wore that suit, there was like a fan inside the head, okay, which constantly blew air onto your head, okay, so you wouldn't pass out. But even with that, I mean, all it meant was, it was 120, 130 degrees inside that suit. All that meant was that fan was blowing 130 degree air into my face. It didn't really help very much, okay? So I know what it's like, and that was under normal lighting. Okay, Burt Lahr was under these super hot studio lights in that suit. I can only imagine how horrible that must have been to film 15-hour days in those outfits. Oh my God. And then with Jack Haley and his freaking makeup and all, in that Tin Man suit. Oh, it must have been a nightmare. Freaking nightmare. But that's what they had to do. They couldn't afford air conditioning. The best they could do is open up the studio doors to let some air in. But even that, things are going to start to blow away. Also, you might not have noticed this, but there's that bird that's in the movie. It's a raven. It's a black raven that flies around. Okay, I've seen that bird before. That exact same bird was used in It's a Wonderful Life, which I watched this past Christmas. Okay, there's actually a bird. If you remember that scene in It's a Wonderful Life, there's a bird inside freaking the Bailey Business Building alone. There's a bird in the office there. Yeah, it's there. Okay, well, it's the same bird from this movie. Okay, apparently at this time in Hollywood, that bird, I don't remember the bird's name, but that bird was the only professionally trained studio bird in existence. So one day that bird, they had like a string or something attached to its foot. So that way it could never fly away off the set, okay? It could always be tethered, right? Well, apparently it managed to bite through that string and it flew away and it went wild on the set. And it perched itself on the roof of the studio and they couldn't get it down. Okay, so they had to call it a day, and luckily in the middle of the night, some studio guys were chasing that thing. They managed to catch him. But they couldn't afford to lose that bird. Okay, that was the only bird in existence that was trained to act, okay? So if any movie needed a trained bird, they had to go to that one, the owner of that bird. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? Also, something else I realized that I figured out, or I found out actually, the Munchkins, okay, the midgets, the dwarves that they used to play the Munchkins, they all got paid, most of them got paid $50 a week, okay, to be in the movie. Or if you had a speaking line, if they spoke in the movie, they got paid $100 a week, okay? Now the dog Toto, okay, the owner of that dog got paid $150 a week. So the damn dog got paid more than the dwarves. Okay, that should tell you something about Hollywood. All right, moving right along. Oh yes, and Dorothy was like, I guess she was 16 when she played Dorothy, Judy Garland, and she was playing a 9-year-old. I mean, I know she was short. She's 4'11". She's a very short girl. But even that's kind of stretching it a bit. I know they made her wear a harness, to push her boobs down so she could be more flat-chested. But still, I mean, she looked like she could have been 14 or 15. She didn't look like a 9-year-old. Okay. But anyway, moving right along. So that's just some of the things I learned about The Wizard of Oz. Okay. It was quite a time back then. All right. But anyway, so moving right along here, where do we leave off? Okay, on the review, where we left off last time. Okay, Glinda and Elphaba have arrived at the Emerald City, so they went through the little tour. Okay, it doesn't really look like an Emerald City. It looks like it looks like a soundstage, but it also looks like going to Disneyland or going to Six Flags. When you walk in there, they have like this fake towns and fake neighborhoods and stuff. That's what it looks like. It looks like you're walking through Six Flags. All right, and but anyway, there's this big song and dance. Of course, everybody there is gay. They're all wearing green. They're all dancing around wearing stilts and these stupid butt costumes. Yeah, I'm not kidding. They're butt costumes. Okay, it's like you see a butt and some legs and a head and no arms. Things like that. Okay, and they watch this little play, I guess, at the Wizomania. I guess that's the name of it. The theater that they go to is called the Wizomania Theater. And while there's these two 50-something-year-old women that are singing. And they're singing the story about the Wizard of Oz, about what happened. Apparently, some ancient wizard a long time ago wrote a book called The Grimoire, which has all these magical spells in it. But he disappeared one day, and everybody that could read the book also disappeared or died. Okay, so nobody could read the book of spells anymore. But then one day, there was a prophecy that someday someone would arrive, of course, and be able to automatically read the book without ever being trained on how to read it. Okay, they would automatically arrive and read the book, and they would save the Oz. Okay, well, one day this hot air balloon crashed into Oz, and on it said the Omaha State Fair on the balloon, the hot air balloon, and that's where the wizards showed up. Now, at this point, everybody who was there knows that the wizard is just this tall, 6'6" Jewish guy named Jeff Goldblum. I'm sorry, he's Oscar Diggs. Okay. Who's from, I guess he's from Omaha, whatever. Anyway, he is like he's a mentalist, and a magician, / fortune teller. He's a con man. He's a grifter, okay? And he just showed up, okay? And they assumed that because this guy showed up after a storm, because he got caught up in a tornado, okay, that he must be the chosen one. And so they gave him possession of the Grimoire. And because he knew he was actually, Oscar Diggs was a devout follower of Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. Okay, he was studying science, he was studying engineering, electricity, and all that kind of stuff, things that were new back then in the late 1800s. So he actually knew how to do things that other people couldn't understand. He knew how radios worked. He knew how to do projections. He knew how Nickelodeon worked. how photography worked. He understood these things, okay? So because he did, it appeared to the people of Oz that he had magical powers. So he just ran with it and declared himself the wizard, based it off the Wizard of Menlo Park, which was the nickname for Thomas Edison, the Wizard of Menlo Park. So he took on that identity as a wizard, and he basically ruled Oz, okay? And that's what he did, okay? So everyone in Oz believes that the wizard, okay, is capable of reading the Grimoire book, okay? And we get all this exposition through this song and dance of Idina Menzel, the actress that actually played Elphaba in the original Broadway production of Wicked, and also Kristen Chenoweth, who also played Glinda in the original Broadway production. So both of them, they don't reprise their roles, but they show up in this cameo. Okay, and there's scenes where they actually like face down their theatrical counterparts. Okay, and I kind of give them like the seal of approval, like, oh, okay, it's okay for you, Ariana Grande, to play me, to play my character in this movie, that kind of thing. So they had that quick cameo there. It's kind of cool. I'm glad they put them in there. I know that both of them are very, very accomplished in Broadway. Okay, they're very, very extremely talented. I would even say they're more talented than Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, but they're too old. They're too old. Speaking of old, you got to remember, Elphaba in this movie is approximately 20 years old, 19, 20, or 21 years old. She's a little bit older than her baby sister, okay? So I would go as far as to say that she's probably 23, maybe 23. That sounds about right. If Nessa Rose was 18, then I would say Elphaba would be about 23, okay? Either way, she's played by a 37-year-old Cynthia Erivo, okay? Whereas Glinda would more likely be 18 or 19 in this movie, and she's played by a 31-year-old Ariana Grande. Okay, yeah. And just so you know, the love interest in this movie, Fiyero, the stud, he's playing like a 19, 20-year-old boy, okay? In real life, he's 37-year-olds. Okay, so there's a lot of that going on in this movie, okay? So I don't understand how you justify the age thing. Yes, Idina Menzel is, 53 years old? Yes, she's 53 years old, okay? And Kristen Chenoweth is 56-year-old. Yes, they are too old, okay? But let's face it, everyone in this movie is too fucking old to be playing who they're playing, okay? Even Jeff Goldblum's in his 70s, okay? That means that he would have fathered Elphaba when he was like 50... maybe 50 years old, 52 years old, but he didn't look 52 when he was dancing with Melina, Elphaba's mom, right before they were drinking that green stuff, okay, and then they did it, okay. Now, he didn't look 53 there or 52 there, okay, he looked like he was in his 30s, okay, so no, can't sell me on that. All right, moving right along. Okay, so they end up there. They end up at the Emerald City, and finally we get through all that exposition, and then we get to the front door where we meet Chistry. Chistry is the captain of the Wizard's Guard. Okay, basically he's a blue fucking monkey. He's a blue monkey, all right? Before they got their wings, all right? So they approach the entrance. Of course, Glinda gives Elphaba this pep talk. Hey, you can do it. I believe in you. But that kind of shit, which has been going on the whole movie. If you saw the trailer of this movie, all of it was every character in the trailer. Every character in the movie was basically eating out Elphaba's asshole and telling her how great she was and how powerful she was, how empowering she was, and how women's rights she is, and all that kind of shit, and how we don't need fucking IDs, okay? If you want to vote in this country, open borders all the fucking way, that kind of thing. And if you don't like it, you're racist, that kind of thing, right? Yeah, basically. Again, I thought the movie would be like that, but luckily it wasn't. I was pleasantly surprised it was not, all right? So anyway, they show up there. They're at the front door now to meet the Wizard of Oz, okay? Glinda tells Elphaba she can do anything. Glinda grabs her, and they walk in together, okay? And they see this giant mechanical head, okay, right there in the room. Okay, behind a curtain, behind this bead curtain, this giant mechanical head pops out, which looks exactly like Jeff Goldblum. Okay, what's weird about that is I don't understand why does he even have this mechanical head? Okay, we know he had it in the Wizard of Oz. It was a hologram of a giant head with pointy ears and sharp teeth. Okay, why on earth would the wizard have this when every motherfucker in this movie knows what he really looks like? There's statues of him. Even Elphaba, when she was a little girl, she had a pop-up book that had him in it, okay? He's a human being, Everybody knows that. He wears this like old like suit from the 1800s, okay, with a bow tie, okay, and those old tuxedo collars, okay, that nobody wears anymore. Okay, everybody knows that the wizard is a human. Okay, he looks like a tall, skinny Jewish guy, older Jewish guy. Okay, Jeff Goldblum. Okay, everybody knows that he's not this giant mechanical head. Okay, he's not some big hologram of a giant head. Okay, everybody knows this already. There's statues of. They even have like a little Mount Rushmore thing of him at Shiz University, which clearly shows his face right there. It's Jeff Goldblum. Okay. Even on the placards that they have on the walls, it shows him posing in his suit. Everybody knows that he's a human being, okay? In the original Wizard of Oz, nobody knew he was a human being. Nobody knew what he looked like. So when Dorothy and her friends saw him for the first time as this giant hologram of a head with sharp teeth and pointy ears, they assumed that this creature was the wizard. And they were scared of him because he kept blowing fire through the vents there whenever he would talk. Okay? So they're like, oh my God, no wonder everyone's afraid of him or whatever, no wonder, he is something. He's not human. He's something else. He's got powers. You see what I mean? How the fuck can everybody think that when everybody already knows that he's a fucking normal looking human being in this world? It contradicts the original movie. Even in the book, which I read the book, Wicked, okay, the Gregory Maguire, I read it. Okay, well, I listened to the whole thing on audio, okay? And even there, the populace thought that the wizard was this giant mechanical head. Okay, later on in Act 3 of the book, Elphaba has a private meeting with the wizard, okay? And then there, the wizard shows up in his human form because Elphaba figured it out. Okay, that's not you. You've been fooling this whole town. Okay, you've been fooling the whole land of Oz. Okay, they think you're this just mechanical creature with powers. You're not. You're just a guy. Okay, you see, but Elphaba figured it out. Okay, in the book. Okay, in this movie, everybody already knows. There's nothing to figure out. Okay, which undoes the Wizard of Oz movie in 1939. Okay, because anybody there would have just told Dorothy, oh, it's a guy. This is what he looks like. Give you his description. Okay, that's the guy you want to talk to. Oh, is he a real wizard? Well, they say he's got powers, but he just looks like a normal guy. We've all seen him. You see, that would have taken away the twist at the end of the Wizard of Oz. Okay, but if you're gonna do that, then you have to keep the twist going here. You have to have everybody in this movie, not the old one. In this movie, everybody has to believe that the wizard is this mechanical head with powers. Otherwise, you're going to lose the whole fucking point of the last movie. You see what I mean? And they didn't do that. Why? That's fucking laziness. Can you really tell me they forgot? Or nobody would notice that? The whole point of this movie is Elphaba figuring out what her place is in the land of Oz. Okay? Besides being this PR fucking mudslinging victim, she's also the daughter of the wizard. She's the daughter of the wizard. You see what I mean? So she should already think that there's no way, if she ever thought the wizard maybe was her dad, she would have erased that immediately because she knows that the wizard's not human. He's like this giant robotic head, or he's this magical creature. He's not just a dude that she already saw in her pop-up book. You see what I mean? So it should have been shocking for her to find out that the wizard was actually a dude, a normal guy, normal looking guy. The fucking Fly. Okay, Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park. Okay, you see what I mean? And it wasn't. So they ruined that. And that really pissed me off. You should have had everybody there should have thought that the wizard was actually this magical creature and not a fucking tall, lanky, fucking Jewish dude, old Jewish dude. All right, anyway. So they get there, and of course the mechanical head greets them and says, "I am Oz, the great and terrible. Who are you and why do you seek me? Say something." And of course, they're both shitting themselves looking at this thing when they should know better that this is not. They already know what the wizard looks like. They should already automatically know this is not him. This is just a fear tactic. Okay. Okay. And all of a sudden, she tells her that her name is. She tells her that her name is Elphaba Throp. And once that happens, he's like, Elphaba Throp. And then he turns off the machine, the head. And that's the only time he really uses it. I mean, he uses it one more time, but why? Everybody already knows. It makes no sense. He comes out from behind the curtain, okay? And of course, like I said, it's Jeff Goldblum in a green suit, a turn of the century suit, okay? He comes out there from behind the curtain, and then he realizes that it's Elphaba Throp. Now, he already knows, okay? It's obvious from his body language and the way that he talks to Elphaba and the things that he says, okay, that he's aware that Elphaba is his daughter. He knows it. How long has he known this? We don't know, but he does know it. He does know it. Elphaba doesn't know it, but he knows it. That Elphaba is his daughter, okay? So he's keeping it a secret from her. He's not telling her, all right? But he's giving her clues, all right? He pulls out a gold coin from behind Elphaba's ear because he was a magician, right? Okay, and then he meets Glinda. Oh, who is this? You know, it's Jeff Goldblum. You know how he does everything, you know? So, actually, what we were talking about was the silence of the but. Well, there you have it. You know, the Jeff Goldblum, okay? He does it he only knows how to play one character, right? But it's brilliant. Nobody else can do Jeff Goldblum except Jeff Goldblum, all right? And of course he does that here too, which I think he's perfect. He's perfect as the wizard. Okay, the wizard needs to be a showman. He needs to be a guy that's comfortable being on stage, you know, and put one over you, okay? Making you think of something that's not really there, okay? That's what he's supposed to be. He's a con man, okay? He's a grifter, you know? That's exactly what the wizard should be, you know, and Jeff Goldblum can do that very well, all right? So anyway, he shows up there, he gives her the coin, meets Glinda, okay, and he does the little tap dance with one foot to let them know that, hey, I'm a showman. I'm just going to give the people what they want, you know, that kind of thing. You know, he seems very good-natured, you know, got a sense of humor, you know. He's actually even humble a little bit, you know, a little bit of self-depreciating humor there as well, okay? And he explains the giant robot head as, you know, you got to give the people what they want, you know? They expect a show, you know? We just want to entertain the people, you know? That's why he created this mechanical head, which makes no sense because, like I said, everybody already knows he's just a normal human, all right? Anyway, he shows them a large-scale model of the Land of Oz that he built, okay? So he's got this floor chart, huge model of the Land of Oz, okay? Miniaturized, okay? And he shows them what the Land of Oz will look like in the future. Okay, and he explains this brick road. Okay, so there's a brick road. He hasn't decided on a color. He actually built a machine to change the colors of the road. He's trying to figure out what would be the perfect color for this brick road. He had the brick road built so that anybody who goes on this road will automatically lead to the Emerald City and lead to him. Okay, so that everybody in the Land of Oz will know how to get to him by following the road. Okay, and by the way, in the book it was called the brick yellow road. Okay, it was called the Brick Yellow Road in the book. It was never in the book was it ever called the Yellow Brick Road. It was never called that until the 1939 movie. All right, so that's going on the Brick Road. Okay, they'll connect all of Oz to his Emerald Palace. You know, like I said, he's having trouble deciding what the color should be. Glinda decides on yellow. It's actually Glinda that picks it. They go through several colors, and Glinda's like, "Oh no, yellow, yeah." It just screams road to me, you know. So they decide on yellow. Glinda decides that the bricks will be colored yellow, okay? And the wizard built. He shows in this floor model here. He shows the Emerald City, the castle that they're in, the palace that they're in right now. And he opens up one of them, and in there's a toy of the giant robot head, and he actually has a little action figure of himself. Okay, the wizard is right there. So look at this. It's me. I got a little doll of myself. Isn't that cool? That just tells you something about the ego that the wizard has. Okay, his real name's Oscar Diggs. Right, that's the ego that he has. Okay, is that he actually built a toy of himself that he could admire. Okay. So that should be some red flags right there about his egotism and his hubris. Okay, excuse me. So anyway, so that's going on here. He's very narcissistic. Okay, okay. He also turns out that he made a little doll of Elphaba as well, a little green witch. Okay, with the hat and everything. All right, and he gives that to her. You know, he made a doll of her there, and he says that someday, you know, they might actually share the palace together. Once again, he's hinting to her that you are my heir. Okay, you are, when I'm gone, all this is yours. You're going to rule Oz after I'm gone because you're my daughter. He's basically telling her that without telling her All right. So he gives her the little doll of herself, and he implies that he can make her skin normal, that he has powers, And because Elphaba looks at her, she's like, it's green. He's like, well, it doesn't have to be. Not if you don't want it to. In other words, I can make your skin normal. Is that your heart's desire? In other words, I can make you look normal. Isn't that why you're here? Isn't that your heart's desire? You want to look like everybody else? That's what he tells her, okay? He implies he can make her skin normal, okay? And Elphaba states that she doesn't want that. She doesn't not want to rule Oz at all, okay? But what she does want is for the wizard to help the animals in Oz, okay? Because they're being persecuted, okay? Okay, and they need him, and that would make her very happy. It's like the animals need you right now more than ever. If you want to make me happy, help the animals. Help me help the animals, okay? Because they're being persecuted, they're disappearing, they're running away, they're losing their jobs, okay? There's hate speech against them, all sorts of stuff is going on, right? Okay, and he tells her that he actually expected her to say that. I thought you would say something like that, It's like, I already know you, And I do like to make people happy, that kind of thing. So the wizard starts singing. Okay, yes, Jeff Goldblum's a singer. I did not know this. Okay, apparently he actually has like a jazz band. He's actually cut some CDs. I had no idea. Okay, to me, Jeff Goldblum, I've never heard him sing before until I saw this. Apparently he can sing, but there's a reason he never cracked the billboard. Okay, he basically talks this song through. All right, but he starts singing about how he wishes he was a father. Yeah, get it? He looks at her, well, how I always wanted to be a father. And it looks right at Elphaba when he says that, And how he treats the citizens of Oz like they're all his children. Okay? Okay, he starts singing. The song he sings is called Sentimental Man. I am a sentimental man. Okay, and like I said, who the fuck knew that Jeff Goldblum could actually sing, all right? I don't think anybody knows that. They still don't. Okay, so anyway, I'm sorry, but he's singing against, like, we just heard Idina Menzel and Christian Chenoweth in the last song, okay? And then you're going to put Jeff Goldblum up there? Are you crazy? Are you out of your fucking mind? By comparison, he is nothing, okay? He's like me at karaoke, all right? He's nothing. Anyway, so him helping Elphaba's accent, okay, and Oz makes him feel parental, okay? So basically, her accent, okay? He wants to raise Elphaba up. He's basically telling her, I want to make you my second in command. I want to raise you up into the social hierarchy of Oz, okay? Because helping you achieve things is going to make me feel parental. Get it? Parental. And then he shows up, even in his model, he shows like a family in there. Like him as the dad, Of course, he wants to have a family now. He just realized at 75 years old, or however the hell old Jeff Goldblum is, I think he's 70 years old. He just realized right now that he wants to be a fucking dad. He wants to be involved in his child's life. Yeah. Ain't that great? All right. It sounds like my fucking dad. Anyway, moving right along. So he makes him feel parental to help Elphaba, okay? And also something that I just noticed here, the green fluid, okay? What was in that green fluid anyway? Because remember that green fluid that he was drinking when he seduced Melina, Elphaba's mom, when she was cheating on her husband, Frexbar, with the wizard? They were both drinking this stuff, and apparently that green fluid is what caused Elphaba to come out green, okay? Because the mom wasn't drinking that fluid when she cheated on her husband with a different guy, and that baby came out with normal skin. Granted, she came out crippled. That's Nyssa Rose, Elphaba's younger sister, but she did come out with normal-looking skin. So what the hell was in that green? What was in that green liquid? We never find out. It's never explained. I'm guessing this has something to do with Elphaba's powers, but it's never explained. Does this fluid give people telekinetic abilities? Because the wizard doesn't have any abilities and he drank it. So why the fuck does Elphaba have it? It's never explained. Okay, it's like she's the chosen one. So that means that she can automatically do things that nobody else can do because she's the chosen one. It's never explained. Anyway, now there's a fucking difference here that really pisses me off. In a minute here, Elphaba's going to read from the Grimoire. Yes, she can read from the magical book. Nobody else can. but she can. Okay? Now, reading a book is just knowing the language. What language was it written in? If you know the language, you can read the book. Okay? So it's not a question of having superpowers. Nobody can give you powers where all of a sudden you can read a language that you couldn't read before. Nobody can do that. Someone has to teach you how to read that. You don't need powers. But nobody in Oz knows how to read the Grimoire. But apparently Elphaba, who has never been shown the Grimoire before, does not know the language at all. She automatically can read the whole fucking thing. How does whatever the fuck came out of a green bottle give her the ability to read a language that nobody knows how to read? It's not explained. Anyway. So anyway, he does this silhouette dance behind the curtain, with the shadow and the light back there. He plays the ball and shit. He starts dancing around. I'm a sentimental man. Of course, the women they're kind of amused by it, okay? He's dancing behind the curtain, okay, of the sky. Get it? He's the man behind the curtain, all right? And all of a sudden, Madame Morrible arrives, okay? And she is disappointed that she's happy that Elphaba's there, but she really gives Glinda the evil eye. Okay, like, what are you doing here? Because she doesn't like Glinda at all. Okay, but Madame Morrible shows up. She tells Elphaba that there's no way she wasn't going to miss Elphaba's big day, okay, with meeting the wizard. So that's why she arrives. Okay, I'm going to stop my review right here, but I'll be back shortly to continue my review. I thank you very much for watching this long, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Bye.